Hello everyone, I guys, hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we are here with a video on the best beginner 99s in old school RuneScape. It can often be hard to try to figure out what your main overarching goal is going to be on a RuneScape account, and oftentimes people will come back to a 99 as a default sort of long-term goal. It's a great way to go about the game. However, it can be hard to choose which one because obviously it's going to be a long time commitment, and given that you don't know exactly where you want to go in the game, it's hard to really pick one out and put all of your heart and soul into it. So there's two main styles that you can go about getting a 99. The first is the most prominent and the most prevalent throughout this guide, and that is the casual play style. For this is usually a skill that's going to be AFK, meaning that you can kind of just lounge back and have a grand old time. Typically some faster XP here. As a casual 99, you want to get a 99 as fast as possible, most likely. And also, you probably won't be making too much money. However, you also won't be inputting too much money, so really it's something that's accessible to everyone. The second style of 99 is the more painful route that you can go. This typically does involve money, so you get a little bit of compensation for your pain. Beyond that, it's often slower XP as well, and it's typically not AFK, so it's really depending on how you want to go about the game. If you just want to sit back, have a grand old time, then the casual route's a good way to go. If you want to grind and get a little bit of money for doing it, then the painful way will be the route for you. We're going to start off this video with the casual 99s. There are a lot of these. There are a few of the more painful ones. The first one is essentially any combat that you want to go ahead and train. It could be attack, strength, defense, magic, range, HP. I wouldn't really recommend prayer because that's very costly, but any of those skills you can use to attack other players, NPCs, and start to get yourself more money and also be able to train your account and hit better as you go on. As far as the pros, it's very applicable. You can really utilize combat in many different situations within the game, and it's extremely prevalent for PvM, of course, so it's going to be a great thing going forward. You can also make money through combat, most typically through Slayer or bossing, so that is a great way to go about that as well. And you can AFK it. A lot of people do Nightmare Zone or Ammonite Crabs, stuff like that, that allows you to just be able to sit back and have a grand old time and not really have to worry about too much of what's going on actually in game. AFKing's weird in the sense that you're not really playing the game, so there's less focus. So if you really want to focus on the game, then AFK isn't good. But if you're trying to do other things and you just want to play a little RuneScape on the side, then it's great. For that reason, one of the cons would also be that it can be boring. I mean, if you're not killing anything that's giving you too much money and you're really just sitting there doing absolutely nothing, I could understand why that might not be the greatest thing for you. And also beyond that, it's kind of like eating your dessert early. You're really just taking away the great part of the game. Like, everyone loves combat, everyone loves PvM, so if you go and just chase 99s in combat first, once you get done with combat, then you're going to be left looking at a bunch of skills you probably don't want to train. I'm definitely not speaking from endless accounts of experience in this. It's not prevalent with me at all. But it is something to be kind of on the lookout for. For the main methods here, Slayer is a great way, as I mentioned before, to make some money and be more active about how you go about training. Nightmare Zone and Crabs are also a great way to just AFK and just farm in XP endlessly. Next up is cooking. This is a very, very common 99 for people. One of the most common, I would say, first 99 capes. It's amazing XP, so people love it for that reason. It's also extremely cheap, and you can't even profit depending on what you're cooking and how you're going about it. If you're doing the fast method, which is wines, you'll lose a little bit of GP, not even that much at all compared to like how much XP you'll be getting. And if you do more AFK methods, then you'll make some money doing that. And that is also a pro as well, is that, AFK methods, gotta love it, especially with cooking, because you're usually set right next to a bank, and then you can just withdraw 28, go AFK, just do it over and over again. Very bank standing-ish. For the cons, cooking has little to no utility outside of just cooking more things for yourself, which you don't have to do if you're a regular account that can use the Grand Exchange. And beyond that, there is no pet that you can get from this activity, so another little downside there. For the main methods here, I threw down wines for the low to mid level fast option. You also have karambans, which are the best option for cooking if you want to just be really efficient with it. And also for the AFK high levels, we have sharks as well. There are a lot more, of course, but these are just some examples of what you'd be up to. Then we have fire making. This one is a great one for the people that want to go the Iron Man route through the game. A lot of people, once they make an Iron Man, start off with 99 fire making right off the rip, because since you have 10 HP, you get hit less because it's a percentage-based damage, so that's a great reason that people come here. It's also really good XP, and you can profit some. Also, the profits, in theory, would also be items that you could have on your Iron Man, and so there's a lot of med-game to early-game skilling supplies that you can get through Wintertot, and so a lot of people like to go the fire-making route on an Iron Man early on. On a main account, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's not something I'd focus, but you could if you'd like. As far as the cons, I mean, fire-making has no utility at all. Like, absolutely none. I know I'll say it a few times throughout this, but fire-making is the lowest of the low in terms of utility, because you never need to do it. For the main methods, most people like to do Wintertot. You could also light fires. That's a very great method to go about as well. Better XP at certain points in the game and more worth doing. However, it's, you know, a little bit more intense rather than Wintertot, where you can just sort of AFK. Then after that, to match up with fire making, we have woodcutting. For this one, the pros are that it's an amazing way to AFK. Redwoods are extremely good, and even at like yews and willows and really wherever you may be, it's pretty good AFK. So personally, as someone that likes to AFK a little bit, I'm a fan. It's also very simplistic. All you need is an axe and then just walk up to a tree and start going ham. There's really not too much to it other than you unlock a new tree every 10 or 15 levels, so you might have to hop around. Very easy to understand, and also you can profit a little bit. Woodcutting's gotten worse and worse over time because essentially everyone woodcuts in game. It's not a service that's really needed, it's a service that everyone provides, so over time the logs go down in price and usually just match up with whatever the high alch values of those things would be. But the downside of woodcutting, it is bad XP compared to a lot of the other skills I'll be talking about in this casual section, and it's also pretty boring. I mean, it's tough because a lot of RuneScape could be debatably boring, but sitting in front of a tree and swinging an axe at it for hundreds of hours on end is unequivocally terrible. Then for the main methods here, we have willows for the early game, we have teaks for the mid game, and then AFK trees whenever you want to go about it. You could throw in yews or maybe redwoods if you're really late game, but definitely a lot of options there for you. Here next we have fletching. For the pros, it is AFK or EHP, essentially meaning that you can AFK and sort of detach from the game, or you could be very EHP. EHP is efficient hours played, so you could be very into that and trying to maximize your XP per hour, because there is a method to go about that. I'll talk about that more in a second. It's also a great bank standing skill in the sense that you don't have to go anywhere, really move too much. You can just constantly be at a bank, or you could be fletching darts in another location, and that is the fastest route to 99 of essentially any skill in game. Darts are an incredibly fast training method. They do cost a little bit of money, but compared to how fast it is compared to other fletching methods, it's totally worth it if you have the money for it. The downsides of fletching is that it has little to no profit. If you're fletching bows, you'll make a little bit, but it's not going to be anything substantial, and beyond that, again, no utility. Fletching's not needed in almost any aspect of the game, so you're not going to get a lot of return on your time invested to get that skill up. The main methods here are longbows for most of your AFK and just bank standing leveling, and then you have darts for the more fast and EHP style of gaming. Then for the final casual 99, we have fishing. Love myself a little bit of fishing. For the pros here, we have AFK or EHP again. You can really kind of choose your own route here, but there's 3-tick barbarian fishing, which a lot of people are kind of into. I actually think it's the most enjoyable of any of the EHP sweaty methods, so I actually enjoy it and would recommend it. You can also potentially profit through fishing if you're doing methods that involve banking whatever sort of fish that you get. In regards to the cons, it is a little bit slower in terms of XP than most other things I've listed here in the casual section, so it will take a bit longer. And along the same lines of woodcutting, it can be kind of boring. I mean, whenever you have a skill where you don't really have to do too much other than sit in the same spot, and it's slow XP, you start to lose motivation a little bit quicker. If you're getting a lot of XP really quick, at least there's that, and you know that it won't take too long. But with fishing, that certainly isn't the case. As far as the main methods, as I mentioned before, barbarian fishing, a great way to go about it. You also have Karambwan's, more of an Iron Man method or an AFK method. And then on top of that, you have Temperos as well, which is a newer fishing-based minigame that is in-game. I actually really enjoy it, so I would recommend, a lot like Wintertot. Then now for the painful 99s, but also the rewarding, we have RuneCrafting as the first one. This is not a 99 that a lot of people get early on, I'll be honest, but it's something that would be very beneficial if you did get it because of what it could offer your account. So as far as the pros, it is amazing money, and that's, you know, really kind of the point of this. You'll make 50, 100, 150 mil, depending on what sort of route you take through runecrafting. You'll certainly be more than handsomely rewarded for the grind that you put in, and you actually have the opportunity to do blood runes, which are a profitable and AFK method of runecrafting once you hit 77, so it kind of combines the best of both worlds in that regard. For the cons, I would start by saying that pre-77 is pretty bad. So depending on how you go about it, it's just going to be very slow XP, and that's kind of the next part that I'll work in there. It is so slow. If you're not doing the most meta methods, at most you're getting 50 to 60k runecrafting XP per hour, and if you're doing profitable methods, you're probably getting 30 to 40k XP per hour. So it's just extremely slow compared to the rest of this, but as I mentioned before, you also get a lot of money, so that's the trade-off. For the main methods, we have ZMI, which is a nice XP and also nice money for med game. It's a little bit more AFK than lava runes, which are the next one. Lava runes are essentially just the sweaty route of going about runecrafting, where you're just teleporting all the time and banking all the, it's just, oh, it's so bad. And then you have blood runes, which are the nice middle ground of profit and AFK, and something that I definitely recommend. And then for the final 99 of the video, another painful one in there with that is Hunter. For the pros, it is fast XP, like really fast XP. You can get close to 300k XP per hour if you're doing the best method at some of the highest levels. However, before that, you're obviously not going to be reaching that, but over time you'll encroach on that. In addition to that, it is great money, and I actually really enjoy Hunter. I'm not someone that typically likes to do skills that are very hands-on, but again, a lot like Barbarian Fishing earlier, it's one of the few skills that once it gets really going, I actually kind of enjoy it. It's a good rhythm to get into if you're doing 3-tick black chins in the wilderness, for example. I actually find that really enjoyable. For the cons, it's not AFK. Now, I say that knowing there's also maniacal monkeys, which are AFK. However, it's a lot different routes. So either you can go the profitable route, which is why this is in the painful section, or you could go the AFK route, which is a lot slower and not why this is in the painful section. So just try to avoid that. Personally, I AFK, but I wouldn't tell other people to do it, all right? That's just what I do. Beyond that, whenever you're catching black chins, you will be in the wilderness, so if you're someone that doesn't like the wilderness, then that is to be considered. For the main methods here, we have red chins, black chins, and maniacal monkeys. The red and black chins are going to be the ones that you profit off of pretty heavy and also get some good XP from. Maniacal monkeys, you don't get any GP from, and you also get even poor XP relatively. So I wouldn't recommend maniacal monkeys, but if you absolutely can't stand it, then that's your route. But that is going to be it for the list of best beginner 99s in old school RuneScape. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. On top of that, if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. And with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.